Hey everybody, it's Ian Preston, and if you didn't notice, I got new glasses yesterday. Yep, got new glasses yesterday because I needed new ones. I'm filming on my Kindle Fire, just to let you know. I'll be doing a review on something today, and if you haven't seen all 3 of these episodes, go ahead and go watch them because they're all complete, and because this video will contain spoilers. Sorry, let's see, I will be reviewing, Are You Afraid of the Dark 2019 miniseries. Um, they're probably gonna have something else next year in October. The genre's horror, fantasy, drama, and suspense. Created by Ben David Gabransky, Ned Kendall, DJ McHale, and starring Lillian Ray, Mia Sech, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Raphael Cassell, Milo Shandell, Sam Ashe Arnold, and Jeremy Ray Taylor. Music by Rob Lowry, and the country of origin is in Canada apparently, which I did not know that. I thought it was America, but turns out it's Canada. But they make it look like America. Original network Nickelodeon. Original release October 11th to the 25th in 2019. And and I know for a fact that one of the characters was in Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. He played Graham, but he played a character in Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. And 3 episodes are titled Part 1 is submitted for approval, Part 2 opening night, Part 3 Destroy All Top Hats, which aired last night. The Top Hats once Destroy All Top Hats aired last night. And this I'll put this video on my first channel and my second YouTube channel also. And usually, like, when they aired, it's an hour long because of the commercials, but if it's not on TV, it'd be 42 minutes. It all starts out with a girl and her somewhat funny mother moves to, can't remember what state they moved to, but they move to a state. She goes to this school. She's all shy and she doesn't really speak up in front of the class, and says her name's Rachel Carpenter, just like the band The Carpenters from the old days. And the teacher asks, "Want to tell about yourself?" And she goes, "I'm new." That's all she says. She just says she's new, and then the class giggles. And eventually at lunch, she doesn't find a seat. Everyone's just covering their seats because they don't want her there or something. And then she meets a boy named Adam who just sits by himself, and they become somewhat friends. And then eventually she starts receiving these notes in her locker. And then eventually she eventually answers these questions here and there. And but before the first night she moved there, she's been having these nightmares about some circus man with a top hat. But then eventually, in the last note, it says, "Congratulations, you've passed the test. Meet us at midnight." And she goes into this dark forest, and then these weird masked people tell her these things, and then they say, "If you tell us about anybody else, we'll never contact you." Somehow they know her name somehow. And then the next morning she's talking to this boy she likes, apparently named Gavin. He's asking him like what she did last night, and he's like being a little pushy and all. And eventually she did meet someone in her first period class. That's when she met Graham. And then later on, eventually she meets some two girls filming something, and and her older brother's a cop. Her older brother's a cop, and he's funny. Sorry, wearing my Avengers shirt. And then later that night, she comes up with a really creepy story. That's what she had to do, and then it's about a girl that gets lost in a carnival called the Carnival of Doom. And then eventually she gets submitted, and then everyone reveals their masks. It's her friends. Apparently Louise, Miko, I think her name was, and then Graham, and then she was assuming this last one was going to be Adam, but it was Gavin. And then the next thing you know, they get these tickets or these little ads or something, and it's to the Carnival of Doom, and then her story's coming true. And then the second one, they decide not to go, but Rachel wants to go to stop him, Top Hat, and then apparently all these signs appear saying Adam gone missing because he went to the see what they're set up with when he was walking their dog. He was walking his dog, and then he sees they're setting up a carnival, and then he goes missing. And the dog comes home all in the rain, which was not really funny. What am I saying? But um, eventually Rachel's friends accept to like help her out and all, and then they go to the carnival that night. I mean, her and Gavin ride in the car, and then her mother's thinking they're like dating or something, but they're just going to a carnival. She's hilarious. I mean, anyway, they arrive at the carnival, and then they remember in the story how the ticket person didn't have any eyes when he took his glasses off, and they ask, "Can you please remove your glasses or take off your glasses?" And then he goes, "Me take off my glasses? Why would I do that?" And he goes, "Why would I want to do that?" And he goes, "Please just do it." And then he just takes them off, and then he just has highlighter on them, apparently. I can't remember what it was. But they go in, it's like a circus, then Mr. Top Hat comes, and he even talks about how it's all part of the show. Rachel starts having these illusions or something. She's always having these illusions here and there about her having to deal with Mr. Top Hat and all, and excuse me, then the next thing you know, everyone takes their separate ways, and then Rachel and Gavin go on this, what is this thing called, the Tunnel of Love? Yeah, and then Louise and Graham go on this Ferris wheel, and then sorry, just trying to get the camera focused, and then eventually, I think, what was her name? Umiko brought one of her friends that helps her film and all. They went along, and then they get chased by these clowns. One of them looks like Harley Quinn, or I can't remember. Maybe one of them looked like either Harley Quinn or it might have looked like that lady from Suicide Squad. Eventually, when they're in the Tunnel of Love, Rachel and Gavin are um, fighting these zombies, and then all of a sudden this Ferris wheel breaks down when Graham and what is her name? Graham and Louise are on. It breaks down, and then all of a sudden it starts putting itself back together, and then the big clown's chasing the two with their phones, takes their phones and saying you're not supposed to have your phones, and then have a good time. And then turns out the zombies were just animatronics. Excuse me. And the next thing you know, they're just animatronics, and later that they, for some reason they keep seeing Adam, and he's like something like that, and then Humiko's brother encounters Mr. Top Hat and all, and then the next morning Rachel's wondering what happened, and then when her and Gavin said they would walk to school together the next day, and then she wakes up, and then her dad's at the door saying that he was not there, and then he was assuming that he decided to start early, and then she's like, And then her mother's like, that's a handsome man. And then um Rachel's like, well, like, he said that he would like he would walk to school with me. And then apparently she goes to school, and then all her friends are, she's looking at her friends like she doesn't, they don't even remember going to the Carnival of Doom. And then one of them said they they stayed home and went to bed early. And then the next thing you know, she just sneaks out of school, which I think she could get in trouble for that. Yeah, she could definitely get in trouble for that. The carnival is gone, and then the next thing you know, she says she's gonna end this. And then the next episode is about flashback back in 1944, about something about Mr. Top Hat and all. And then present day comes, and she tells her friends they have to go to. They eventually figure out that they have to go to Idaho because they figure out where it is, and they decide to like track down the Carnival of Doom. And then because Gavin has gone missing. And then eventually Miko's brother, they convince her brother to like drive them all the way up to Idaho. And then they stop for a bathroom break. He goes into the bathroom, and then all of a sudden these scorpions take him away. And then his sister goes in, apparently because they convince her to go in even though she didn't want to because it's a men's bathroom. And she realizes what's going on and all. And then she blames Rachel for this, and she says she didn't want to put anybody in danger. And then the next thing you know, apparently they convince Graham to drive because he has a learner's permit. And then he's driving like so slow, and he hates doing this. And they finally reach Idaho, and then they encounter this man that says he can help them. And then he tells them a story how they were friends and all, him and Mr. Top Hat. And then he said the only way to get rid of all the Carnival of Doom and all and destroy Mr. Top Hat is his top hat. They just burn it. Apparently, I was assuming, is this going to be like based off of the Lord of the Rings? Because all they had to do in Lord of the Rings was burn the ring, and then Sauron and all of his people will be destroyed, and then everything will be destroyed and all of Sauron. So I'm surprised they didn't say, is this supposed to be like based off of the Lord of the Rings? Eventually, Graham said he watched an R-rated movie when his mother said he couldn't watch, and he watched it anyway and got really scared. And then eventually they put on these masks. Then they realized that Top Hat would realize what Rachel would look like. And then they eventually split up, and then they start turning off all the lights. And then Rachel goes in and then unlocks this thing with the coin. And then eventually her friends get captured, because then Miko's brother and then Adam they're under the spell of Mr. Top Hat. And then Rachel falls into a trap, and then all of her friends are eventually under the spell. And then Top Hat talks about how this man that tried helping them out earlier turns out was with Mr. Top Hat the whole time. And apparently, which I knew it was a trap, and I was like, I don't know how she's gonna get out of this one. And then Gavin is telling her that Top Hat needs to be stopped. And then eventually they were about to put her in this crate with a chainsaw, and then they put this thing over her mouth and then tie her up. And then eventually she somehow manages to like get this pocket. Remember, she had a pocket knife. She uses it to cut the rope and open it. Cut the rope, and then eventually grab the cane from Top Hat, because the cane gives him power. And then he hits her with it, and then they escape. And then she goes, they're like, what happened? Like, long story, I'll explain later. And then they go into this dark, foggy, swampy thingy, and then they lose each other. And then they start playing Marco Polo. Then all of a sudden these scary looking thingies get them, and then they're outside in the rain. And then but Top Hat tells Rachel to meet him where they first met. And then Top Hat explains he always wanted to be better, and he always wanted to have power and all, just like Rachel did. And he said that they're alike and all when they're outside in the rain. And then she tells him that she's not like him. And then eventually she uses the cane to like on the people that that have her friends captive, and then she uses it on the man that tried to help them earlier, which tricked them, and then caused like caused an electricity thingy or something, and then the fire started, and then she threw the cane in the fire, and then he's like smiling, Top of Hat smiling at Rachel. She's like, "Why are you smiling?" And then he explains something, and then all of a sudden he starts turning old, and then all of a sudden he turns to dust, and then weird fire, and then vanishes, and then everyone laughs, and then they all smile, and then apparently Miko's brother and Adam are out of the spell, and then Adam's like, he's like so confused, and then the next morning um her brother's like keeping track of everything because they're filming a werewolf thingy or something, and then near a gas station, and then Rachel comes out, and then apparently Gavin's the werewolf, and then later that night they were doing a vote to see if she'd stay or not, and then they eventually all raised their hand because they want her to stay because they say she's the best thing that's ever happened to her. And then Gavin has a scary story, and then all of a sudden there's a scary looking, I can't remember what the scary story's called, something about a griddle or something, and then they can hear a noise or something, some creature, and then Graham's like, "I'm not ready for another adventure." Turns out it was just Adam and his dog. And then he's like, "What's going on here?" And then they all smile, and then Rachel looks at him and says, "Adam, do you like scary stories?" And that's the end. So, yeah, when I started watching this, I'm like, I decided to give it a chance, and I'm like, this is actually getting pretty interesting. And I'm glad I did, and hopefully they have something next year, because I can tell they will, because this is like for Halloween or something. And anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my review that I had today. I already reacted to the Casa Grande's Day of the Dead episode on Monday, and I know that two Loud House episodes air today. I might not be able to react to them today, but I might be able to do it tomorrow, just to let you know. It'll just be on my first YouTube channel, and yeah, just to let you know it might be late, and I'll do a video of me talking about my favorite NFL teams. Once I ordered something off of eBay, an NFL shirt that has all the teams on it, and I'll show it to you guys, and then I'll talk about my favorite NFL teams. And I have 25 favorite NFL teams, which is crazy, right? Anyway, what would I rate these? What I rate? I'm gonna rate all of them the same rate. I'll give them a 10 out of 10. These three Are You Afraid of the Dark miniseries episodes, great episodes. They had good actors, put a smile on my face, and yeah, 10 out of 10. They were pretty good. Um, Actors of the Are You Afraid of the Dark, if you're watching this, great job, by the way, on acting, especially you, actress of Rachel. But anyway, I'd like to say thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more um, of these if I have decided to do any more reviews, and stay tuned for reaction videos and other certain videos that I'll make. I have filmed a Halloween video that'll go up on next Thursday, because Thursday's Halloween. I'll put it on both of my channels, and thank you guys for watching. It has been Ian Preston here. Later.